"Just sign it," she said, and I did. Her lawyer's pen clicked twice. That sound, sharper than any gunshot. "Just sign it," she said, her voice calm, polished, practiced. Her eyes didn't tremble when she said it, not even once. The same eyes that once begged me to stay awake through the night, whispering how she couldn't sleep without hearing my heartbeat beside her. Now they looked at me like I was a transaction she wanted to finalize. I looked at the table. The papers were perfectly aligned, her name printed above mine. Her attorney sat still, hands folded, his lips almost smirking. There was a cup of untouched coffee beside her, the same flavor she used to make for me before work, caramel mocha. I could still smell it. Sweet, deceptive. I lifted the pen. The metal was cold. She said again, "It's just a formality, Daniel. Formality." That word stung. I looked at her one last time. The woman I built a life with. And then I signed. Not because I accepted defeat, but because I wanted her to believe she'd already won. When the tip of the pen touched the last line, something in me cracked quietly. A thin, invisible fracture, but deep enough to swallow everything I ever felt for her. I slid the paper back. She didn't thank me. She just turned to her lawyer and said, "We're done here." I smiled faintly. No, we weren't. It started 3 months ago. A lipstick mark that didn't match her shade. A new perfume scent that didn't belong in our house. And the late nights. Always office work, always projects, always meetings. I believed her at first. That's what love does. It blinds you with the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not a fool. Not anymore. The first time she came home past midnight, I watched her quietly from the couch. She looked startled, not because I was awake, but because she wasn't expecting anyone to see her return. I asked nothing, just smiled, kissed her forehead, and let her walk into the shower. The smell of a man's cologne lingered on her scarf. The next morning she made breakfast, humming a tune. Her hands shook slightly when she poured coffee into my mug. I noticed, but I said nothing. Instead, I started watching. She thought she was clever, deleting messages, hiding calls, turning her phone face down every time it buzzed. But patterns don't lie. People do. Every Friday she left for work early. Every Friday her perfume changed. Every Friday her voice when she said, "I love you," carried hesitation. And every Friday I smiled, the way predators smile before the kill. One night she fell asleep on the couch, her phone still unlocked beside her. A man's name, Mark. The texts were brief but heavy. "Tonight was perfect. Can't stop thinking about your lips. He doesn't suspect a thing." I read them all. Every single one. No anger, no tears, just silence. My mind didn't scream. It calculated. Because when a person betrays you once, you have two choices: break down or break them from the inside. I chose the latter. For weeks I lived a double life. To her, I was still the affectionate husband, quiet, patient, loving. To myself, I was the ghost recording everything. I tracked her calls, her car's GPS. The hotel receipts tucked between old bills. Each discovery was a piece of a puzzle I didn't know I was capable of solving with such precision. Every night I wrote details in a small black notebook. Times, locations, dates. At work, my colleagues laughed, joked, lived their lives. I smiled too, but behind that smile there was strategy. One Friday evening she dressed in a silver gown, said she had a client dinner. Her hands shook when she put on her lipstick. Maybe guilt, maybe thrill. I asked her, "Want me to drop you off?" She froze. "No, I'll take a cab." Perfect. The moment she left, I followed, kept my distance, watched her walk into the serene hotel. Not an office, not a client dinner, A dim-lit restaurant on the rooftop. 2 wine glasses. A man waiting. Handsome, younger, confident. Mark. I stayed until she laughed, until she touched his hand, until she leaned forward and kissed him. My breath didn't hitch, it slowed. That was the moment love died. Not with a scream, with a quiet exhale. The next morning, she kissed my cheek like nothing had happened, and I played along. "I missed you," I said softly. She smiled, guilty, unsure. "Me too," she whispered. The lie fell from her lips like ash. Over the next 2 weeks, I prepared everything. The lawyer, the property transfer, the hidden camera footage. I made sure every asset that mattered was already in my name. When she thought she had the upper hand, she didn't know she was standing in a house I already burned to the ground, quietly, systematically, piece by piece. The papers she handed me today, I had written the first draft myself. The lawyer's office was silent after she left, just me and him. He cleared his throat. "You handled that well." I turned to him slowly. "She'll find out soon," I said. He frowned. "Find out what?" "That she signed my version of the settlement." He blinked. "What?" I smiled faintly. She thought she was taking everything. In reality, she just gave me full control of the house, the accounts, and the business shares. He went pale. "You altered the document?" "No," I said calmly. "I rewrote the ending." I stood up, straightened my jacket, and walked out. Outside, the air smelled like rain. I didn't feel victorious, just empty. That evening, I drove home, our home, now legally mine, and waited. When she walked in, her smile vanished the second she saw the envelope on the table. "What's this?" "Proof," I said. She hesitated, opened it, photos, receipts, hotel records, messages. Her breath caught, her hand trembled. "You followed me?" I didn't answer. I just looked at her, calm, detached. Tears formed in her eyes. "Daniel, I can explain." "Don't," I said. My voice was low, measured. "Every time you lied, I memorized the sound of it. Every whisper, every excuse. And you know what I realized?" She stayed silent. "It wasn't just about cheating. You enjoyed watching me trust you." She stepped closer. "I made a mistake." "No," I interrupted. "You made a choice." She stared at me, broken now. You planned this?" I smiled faintly. "Of course." The following morning, her lawyer called, panicked, shouting about the wrong version of documents filed. Too late. Everything had already gone through. I was done. She came to my office that night, drenched from the rain, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. "Please," she whispered, "we can fix this." I looked up from my desk. "Fix?" "Yes, please, Daniel. I don't love him." "Stop." She froze. I stood slowly, walked toward her, and whispered, "You already thanked everyone but me. At our anniversary dinner, remember that?" She blinked, confused. I leaned closer. "You thanked your friends, your parents, your colleagues, even your clients, but not me." That was the night I knew. Her lips parted. No sound. I realized then, I wasn't your husband anymore. I was just a name on your guest list. Tears slid down her face. "I didn't mean." "I know," I said quietly. "That's what makes it worse." I picked up the signed divorce paper from my desk and handed it to her. "You wanted me to sign it?" "I did." "You wanted freedom?" "You have it." "You wanted the last word?" "Here it is." She took it, shaking. "Daniel!" But I was already walking past her. No anger, no emotion, just silence. The kind of silence that ends stories. I drove until the city lights faded behind me. The rain washed the windshield clean, like it was trying to erase the years I'd wasted believing her. Somewhere along the road, I realized I wasn't sad anymore, just free. Freedom doesn't always feel good at first. Sometimes it feels like walking barefoot over broken glass. Painful, but cleansing. People say betrayal breaks you. It doesn't. It sculpts you. Every scar becomes armor. Every lie becomes wisdom. I pulled over by the bridge, watching the water move beneath. It didn't care who I was, what I'd lost, or what I'd done. It just kept flowing. And for the first time in years, so would I. I whispered to the night, she wanted me to sign away my life. A pause. I signed hers instead. Then I smiled, small, real, and final. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's just walking away while they crumble in the silence you leave behind.
How could you do this?